So, we've compared the assassins of the series on numerous subjects. Who's the deadliest? Who's the scariest? Who's the most evil? Such negative topics. Maybe we need to look more at important human qualities to have, such as kindness. Now, some might say an assassin who, well, assassinates people can't be kind, and to that I say, that's not true. Just because they're assassins doesn't make them bad people. In fact, if you're an innocent or just generally a good person, you'll likely see the very nice and caring side of those hooded figures. Well, except for that poor old guy from the beginning of AC1. So yeah, maybe everyone except Altair has a bit of kindness. I'm just kidding, you know Altair's a good dude. He just needed some character development and he was fine. But as always, I'm going to compare the assassin protagonists for the series and try to determine who's the kindest of them all. As always, this is just for fun, and let's all have a nice discussion about all the kind things these assassins have done. So I actually think Bayek may be a frontrunner when it comes to the kindest assassin. Yeah, and this is one of the nicer ones. No, but seriously, if you're someone who's not some sort of bandit or member of the Order of Ancients, Bayek is one of the kindest protagonists in this series. Originally, Bayek was the Medjay of Siwa, so from the beginning, he's been a protector of the innocent people. And even though he sets aside his Medjay duties for his quest of revenge, there's still so many side quests where he goes out of his way to help people out. I've brought this up before, but I think a great example of this is this one little side quest where he talks a woman out of jumping off a cliff. He just very kindly asks her what's wrong and talks to her and uses humor as a way to de-escalate the situation. And that's essentially the whole quest. Granted, you've got to fight some bandits or something at the end because this is Assassin's Creed and everything has to be dramatic, but I felt that quest was the perfect example of who Bayek is as a person. I don't know, it's pretty rare to see an act of kindness like that in an AC game from the main character. And there are plenty of other examples like that in Origins, where Bayek is just trying to help good people out. So to me, Bayek is absolutely a frontrunner for the kindest assassin. The Frye twins are an interesting bunch. I think it's safe to say they're kind. Then again, it all depends on the situation and who they're dealing with. They do set out to liberate London from Templar control though, against the wishes of their creed, but are they really doing it for the people or for their father? I'd say probably both. Evie seems like a kind person, except when dealing with her brother Jacob, which honestly, who could blame her for having to put up with that idiot? And Jacob, well, he's just Jacob. Kind certainly isn't the first word that comes to mind. In fact, he causes a lot of damage to both his enemies and accidentally innocent people. I think it's safe to say he's not the kindest. I mean, I could see an argument for Evie, but I really don't think there's enough evidence to say she's kinder than someone like Bayek. Again, sort of similar situation with Arno. You know he's a good person. He helps other people out quite a bit during the Paris stories, and he's usually always trying to do what's right, even if it doesn't end well. You could be like, oh, well, he got his father and De La Serre killed, but of course he didn't mean for any of that to happen. I think probably one of the best examples of Arno's kindness comes in the Dead Kings DLC, when he's helping out the little boy Leon. I think we get to see that sort of human side to him who wants to help the people of France. I don't know if I'd consider Arno the kindest assassin, but I certainly don't think he's just an awful person or anything either. Edward? Edward, the kindest?
Shut your fucking gob or I'll fill it with shot, you hear me?
Okay, no, but seriously, by the end of Black Flag, obviously Edward grows a heart and conscience. Or not so much grows, but more so becomes the person he always was, but tried not to be, if that makes sense. You know he's the greedy pirate, robbing, killing, not really caring for anything but himself and his close friends. Obviously, that's mostly different by the end, and at least he cared enough to help out the assassins that he put in danger in the first place, and even killed a few of them, but it's the thought that counts. Oh, I killed a couple assassins. Let me make it up to you by saving the ones I put in mortal danger. It's all good. Again, we gotta judge Edward based on his kindness throughout Black Flag, not just the end. So to me, he's obviously not the kindest assassin. Connor is a very, very interesting one, because initially you see this tough wrecking ball of a human being who takes down anyone who gets in his way, and you must think, wow, he must just be the worst person. And really, it's the opposite. Connor is actually a really nice guy. I think this is best demonstrated in the homestead missions where he helps people out, even saved and carried this one girl who broke her leg. Like, make no mistake, if you're on Connor's good side, he's a very kind person. If you're not on his good side, well, you're dead. But Connor is a very compassionate and caring person despite appearances. Yeah, he can be very sassy and rude sometimes, but again, only to his enemies really. So I'd actually consider Connor as one of the kindest assassins in the series. Now, Ezio. Who doesn't love Ezio? Well, I'll tell you who. Loser. Ezio is a very charming, likable person. Seriously, who wouldn't want to be friends with this guy? You see his friendship with Leonardo and how he takes care of his mother and sister. You see how quickly he's able to create bonds with people, even becoming pretty close with Yusuf in Revelations. He's just a good, kind person. I mean, he even spared Rodrigo after everything he did to him and his family. And while they definitely didn't become friends, it felt like they gained a mutual respect and understanding of one another and just left each other alone. Well, until Rodrigo's dim-witted son got involved, but whatever. The point is, there's plenty of examples of Ezio's kindness and how well he treated his friends and family. Altair, I love you, but you ain't really that kind. Again, credit to Altair, he grew and became a better person over time, but I still don't think there's tons of evidence to make me think he's the kindest assassin. In fact, he was a frontrunner for who the most evil assassin was. Not that he's evil, of course, but of all the assassins in the series, he definitely did some of the most ruthless things. So who's the kindest assassin? I have it narrowed down to 3. I'm going with Bayek, Connor, and Ezio. It was actually really tough to choose a winner out of these 3. I kept going back and forth, but ultimately I'm gonna have to go with my boy Ezio. Again, I kind of thought of it as who I would like to be associated with or friends with the most, and I definitely think Ezio would be the best option. However, like I said, there's plenty of examples of Bayek's kindness in Origins, and the fact he was literally a Medjay supports that very well. And Connor is a very caring and compassionate person, and as long as you're on his good side and not an enemy, he's surprisingly very nice. But I personally think Ezio's the kindest. But I'm very, very curious who you guys think the kindest is and why, so feel free to let me know in the comments. But other than that, if you enjoyed the video, I've made tons more like this for so many different categories at this point. I have a whole playlist if you wish to check it out. I'd appreciate it if you left a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Special thanks to my members for supporting me, it really means a lot. And thank you for watching, everyone, and be kind out there, assassins.